actually learn about money. Let me bring it full circle. We can actually learn about money if we pay attention to people who make money decisions. You cannot be around people who are making money and making great money decisions and not become better with money. But you agitate the situation when you get around people who are making better money decisions and you go right back to the old environment. So now you are bringing that trauma with you. So you are making unnecessary damage on the journey. One of the terms that I thought about on our way to building this show was helping us heal from that financial trauma. Healing financial trauma. That concept is so powerful. So when we first think about trauma, it's an experience in our life that has caused emotional damage or emotional scarring. And so when we reflect on that memory or that experience, the body goes through a type of emotional withdrawal. All right? I want us to walk with me right quick as I try to paint this picture for us to talk about the unnecessary damage that we take on a journey, y'all. I want you to walk with me on this for a second, right? Trauma, right? Like when we think about an experience in our life as some part of the journey, that trauma can cause us to be paralyzed. That trauma can negate our success because we haven't learned how to build up the fortitude to move past it, right? The trauma, when we think of an experience or when we are abruptly met with something that reminds us of an experience that we had that we truly did not like how it made us feel. The trauma. A traumatic experience that we often hold not just in our mind, but in our hearts. And the reason why I say in our heart is because it's not so much as the heart that beats blood, but the heart is the treasure chest of emotion. Right? Not just the heart that circulates blood through our bodies, and we found out that it takes the body about 8 minutes to circulate blood from head to toe. So your blood can go from your heart to your feet to your brain in about 8 minutes. Not that heart, but the heart that holds your emotion. Now, this treasure chest is so important for us throughout life because anything that keeps us from opening the treasure chest to experience emotion actually holds us in prison. Okay? Trauma. Right? And so when we talk about healing the financial trauma, let's now talk about how does that look to us. So for me, I understood that coming from where I came from, and I just want you to walk with me as I paint this picture. I promise it's going to all make sense. Right? Like, as I realized that we're on a journey, we're on this exodus, meaning we're leaving one place to go into another place, we have to often leave things behind. Because if we carry things from the past into the future, watch this, y'all, we have automatically put a form of adversity in front of us that did not exist or was not supposed to be there. Let me dig a little deeper in that right quick. Let me dig a little deeper with that right quick. In order for you to become a millionaire, we must first let go of the thought process that held us captive in poverty. Because if we take those same ideas or we take those same philosophies with us on the journey to be a millionaire, we've automatically put additional adversity on this path. Trauma. We're bringing the emotional baggage from the past. We're bringing the emotional experience from the past up front. Okay, let me help us cultivate that, Jose. We're gonna walk this one for a little bit, Jose, right? Because I want to talk to us about the unnecessary damage on the journey, right? So when we bring the pain from the past trauma financially to the front, now we take unnecessary damage. How do we take unnecessary damage? It shows up in us not taking advantage of financial opportunities that help us move forward. That's unnecessary damage. Because now we're sitting in a space where we're sitting on this money, and we know that a dollar that's not moving is a dollar that's losing. And as long as the dollar is losing, we're actually decreasing our net worth. And as long as we're decreasing our net worth, we're staying in that poverty situation. We're actually keeping the key on the chain that's keeping us in that tax bracket. We're actually keeping the key on that chain that's keeping us on Social Security or welfare. We're actually keeping the key on that chain that's not giving us the opportunity to get better health care. We're actually keeping the key on the chain that's keeping our kids from getting that higher education. We're actually keeping the key on that chain that doesn't let our kids experience the financial freedom that we have. We're actually keeping the key. We're actually taking unnecessary damage on the financial journey because we're holding on to the poverty experiences on the wealth building journey. Right? We're talking about unnecessary damage on the journey. Okay? And so when we talk about the term healing, see, Jose, this is a pivotal, this word here, this term healing is so amazing. And the reason why the word healing is so amazing, Jose, is because healing means that the scars are now becoming healthy. Okay. So we talked about trauma, and we talked about the mindset. We talked about the experiences. We talked about how the trauma can show up, right? But the healing. See, the healing has to be intentional. So, watch this, Jose, this is gonna be real good. If you don't heal properly, you can actually heal in a detrimental way. Okay, like I remember when I got cut in prison. Okay, real life experience here. Got cut right here with a dagger in prison. And I was debating, should I go to the infirmary or should I let it heal on its own? Watch me here. About 8 months prior to that, when I was in prison, when I had got this sleeve done, I had got what do you call the things, man? It's when it gets infected, an abscess, it's something like that. I forgot what it's called. But what happened was I didn't want, so the wound was open and the dude next to me was sick. And so it caused my arm to really, really get big. And I did not want to go to the infirmary. So the guy next to me had to use a razor and cut it. And he had to go inside of it he had to burn it and go inside of it with a pin to pop the egg out of it. It hurt like hell. Watch this. That was unnecessary damage. Because if I'd have went to the infirmary, they would have just gave me antibiotics. Right? Staph infection. That's what it was. So so my arm was huge. Couldn't move it. I got a fresh sleeve that took me 8 hours to do. And the guy next to me was sick. So he was coughing and it caused my arm to catch a staph infection. And so the guy next to me, I never forget, his name was Goat. So Goat had to slice my arm and go inside of it, right? I got the towel, like, he had to dig inside of it and get the core out of it. And then he had to squeeze it to get everything else out of it. Now that's unnecessary damage. But watch this. The reason why I couldn't go to the infirmary was because I had an illegal tattoo. So watch this, Jose. Watch this. Watch this. What happens when our bad choices compound? What happens when the bad choice compounds and then the pain from the bad choice now puts you in a position to endure even more pain, which is unnecessary? Okay, let me make that make sense, Jose. You have bad financial trauma, you have a bad financial relationship with money, and then you exude that to your child, and now that pain is now reciprocated to the child, and now we're talking about generational financial trauma. We're not talking about generational ways with generational imprisonment, generational lack of opportunities, generational bondage, not from just life, but from finances. What happens when the pain, not even the abscess, not even the staph infection, we talking about, watch this, the financial turmoil that you've injected on the generations that come behind you? What happens when the bad choices compound?